तो अपन अपन दोनों गए तो नहीं होता काम।
All right, I guess we're live. Yeah. So, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Beyond and Better New Age Vulnerability Management. My name is Abdul Hadi. I am a cybersecurity support engineer at RAWAD ITS. And with me, I have today Mr. the great Amer Alsharkawi, the regional sales director at SecPod. And also, I have with me Mohammed Saifudeen, who is the senior sales engineer at SecPod. So, I am thrilled to host this session in collaboration with our strategic partner, and together we are in simpler terms, we are redefining the cybersecurity landscape and ensuring that all the businesses like yours who are present today, everybody in the audience, ensuring that all your businesses are equipped with the best tools to thrive securely in a digital first world. So, just to give you a brief introduction of who we are, um, at Rawad IT Solutions, we pride ourselves on offering cutting edge IT solutions and cybersecurity services. And our partnership with SecPod is very special. It's testament to the fact that we are dedicated to providing the best service. So we began in 2010. I'll keep it very short. We began in 2010, and we were on a mission to secure the landscapes of businesses globally. And over the years, we built reputation for innovation, excellence, and our customer-first solutions. We have support centers in India and Pakistan too, but we operate mainly all over Saudi Arabia. So partnering with SecPod has been it's been a strategic decision that aligns with our vision of creating a secure digital environment. So that's our mission and that's our goal. And I want to keep this introduction short. We do all kinds of IT. We have an IT 360 model, so we do cloud solutions, IT consulting, and data backup, and managed IT services, and much more. So we want to help you all do that too. And why this partnership matters between us is it's more of a, in my head, it's more of a collaboration. It is a shared commitment to empowering businesses against cyber threats. And so I won't be doing much of the talking because I don't think I'll do justice to it. I'll let the experts do much of the talking. So I would like to, hand it over to Mr. Amer, who is the regional sales director at SecPod. Mr. Amer, please take over.
Yeah, thank you, Abdul Hadi. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hi, everyone who's joining us this webinar. Actually, we will focus in this webinar to show you a live demo for some of the use cases that showing our capabilities as a platform in SecPod. But before that, I'm happy just to introduce SecPod to you quickly. What we are doing exactly. SecPod is a company. Actually, we are not new in the market. Maybe we are 1, 2 years in the market here, Middle East, Africa, but the company is more than 16 years. Actually, our focus, our platform, it's in the vulnerability management space. What we are doing, we have a platform, we call it Scener now, and we love to say about it, or to call it as continuous vulnerability and exposure management. And the idea here, if I'm sure that most of you understand what the vulnerability management, but just to let you know that the vulnerability management is the foundation from when you start thinking about the layer of defense in your environment. Definitely, the vulnerability management is the foundation, let me say, of the prevention technique, the proactive security in prevention technique before even you apply any detection or response. Okay, it's like the firewalls, like your antivirus, like the LP, like encryption, whatever it is. So first of all, you need to make sure that you are closing the doors and windows for your house, for example, before you start living there or doing whatever in your house. So because of that, you have to see where's the weaknesses. SecPod is a platform with Sena now. We are coming to this region to address a lot of issues and challenges that most of the IT security and IT operations team they are facing. We are seeing that most of the customers so far, they are not certain about where is the entire risk and their IT security landscape. This is very important. So because they have many critical servers, desktops, whatever surfaces they are running, okay, and but they are not sure where is the risk, where I need to focus, where I need to protect my business and services as well. This is one. Second, which is very important, when we talk about vulnerability management, we are talking about two parts importance. The first one is the vulnerability assessment, how we are discovering the vulnerabilities in the environment, and the second, how we remediate these vulnerabilities. Okay, most of the tools in the market for a long time, maybe 2 decades right now, they are separate. Okay, maybe the team, they are separate, security, operations, something like that. So you are scanning, and after that other tools will do the remediation. So there is no integration. There is no one platform can integrate both of them, the vulnerability assessment, scanning, and the vulnerability remediation in one platform. And this is what we do in SecPod, okay, because assessment without remediation is useless right now. Okay, so this is very important to understand that, to have more control, and we will say that these are the vulnerabilities and these are the patches or the fixes, and this is the proof why you have this vulnerability in your environment. The third thing, which is very important, we in the past or right now, many of the customers doing this scanning every quarter, every month, every whatever. This will not work anymore. We should have the scanning daily. This is a daily job to scan your environment, discover the weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and take an action. Sorry. Because of that, continuity is very important. SecPod, it's continuous scanning for your environment at least once per day, and it will show you every day your cyber hygiene score, that you score your environment. It has these vulnerabilities today, it has these patches, you need to focus here, this is the exposure here, and you need to take an action and fix it. So why is that? Because number of vulnerabilities right now, every day, it's more than 70, 80 vulnerabilities, more than half of them exploited in the wild. Okay, a lot of CVEs produced from NIST or CIS, whatever it is, in the last quarter, okay, more than 40 CVEs. So we cannot avoid all of this just to scan one time or something. We need a scanning, continuous scanning, and continuous taking action to make sure that you are reducing your attack surface and protect your critical assets. So what we are doing generally in our platform, we are discovering the infrastructure, your infrastructure, hardware, software, applications, running everything. So visualize, okay, we are saying no lies and visualize. So we have to see visibility about like a kind of asset discovery. And after that we are starting to discover all the weaknesses in your environment. We have different modules built in. Okay, the most important thing of these modules, if you can see here in these slides, we start with something called posture anomaly management, that we need to discover any deviation in your standard configuration. We have predefined checks built in. This is a very unique module. And after that, we will run our vulnerability scanner using the largest library we have as a SecPod. Many of the vendors using it as well. This is by SecPod engineers, maintained by Sec for more than 16 years. So to discover the CVEs and software vulnerabilities. And we have also compliance management module. This compliance management will discover any also deviation if you are following any standard regulations or any local regulations. You need to scan your environment as well. After that, we will discover the vulnerabilities, misconfigurations, and before we are remediate and patch and fix these vulnerabilities, we are telling you, listen, Mr. Customer, you need to focus here the exposure, here the risk. We will prioritize the risk and the categories of these vulnerabilities and tell you this is priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, because you cannot focus on all of them. The idea here is just to protect your critical assets in the beginning and to reduce your attack surface as much as you can quickly. Okay, so actually, our platform, it could be on cloud, could be on prem. It's just one single console has all of this. Our patch management solution, endpoint management solution, can support Macintosh, Windows, Linux, Unix, all the platform. Even we are patching more than 500 plus common applications. So a lot of features. Actually, in this webinar, maybe we will start showing to you some of the use cases, which is it's normal use cases that we can discover. We have endpoints. Okay, we will discover the vulnerabilities in this endpoint, how our scan is working, and after that we will create a patch task or a fix task just to fix the issues and tell you how we can fix that and manage the remediation part. And maybe after that, this is just one of the scenarios we think that we will show you the more basic okay function of this platform. Maybe in other webinars we can use more use cases as well, okay, just to cover the other modules as well. I will hand, if you have, by the way, any questions, please drop it on the chat. Okay, we will give 5 minutes at the end of this webinar just to answer your questions. Okay, if we have a good time for that. I will move it now to our senior pre-sales engineer, Mr. Mohammed Saifudeen. He will take you to the demo and live demo and show you some of the scenarios that we are doing in our platform. Mohammed?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Amer. Thanks, Abdul Hadi, for the introduction, and thanks, Amer, for passing it on. Right. So, like how Amer mentioned, the agenda here is to give you a glimpse of what the platform can do. Right. It comes with several capabilities. So many use cases can be addressed, but the idea here is to let the audience here understand what is required when you are actually trying to address your cybersecurity needs, right? Especially in the preventive part. So prevention is something that is always has to be taken into consideration, especially with respect to the number of vulnerabilities that are out there that are coming up every single day. So when you are looking to address your preventive cybersecurity needs, what are the solutions that you need to have in place? How do you have them aligned to your requirements? How do you address them? And how do you ensure that your IT is prevented from any kind of cyber attacks on a daily basis, right? The reason we say daily basis is just like how Amer mentioned. I would like to touch back on the point. Gone are the days where you used to run scans whenever there were audits or there were quarterly audits done or semi-annual or annual audits done. But now, every single day, there is 70 or 80 new vulnerabilities that are being discovered. Nearly 54% of them being critical and high severity ones, right? So that is something that has to be kept in mind. And then the need arises where you will have to run scans to gauge your vulnerability posture and basically your IT security post, right? So keeping all that in mind, I will be demonstrating some use cases of the platform where you can see that this is the demo workflow that you see on the screen. Right? I'll be showing how you can onboard devices on the console and how the scans get initiated automatically, right? And it's not just that, scans run every day in an automated manner, and you can also track that if at all the scan is missed or not, right? And in addition to just running vulnerability scans, the platform can also help you with compliance scans using benchmarks for several regulatory policies like NIST or CIS or PCI or any custom system hardening policies that you would like to have, right? And the platform also comes with its own prioritization engine. So I would like to give you a walkthrough of that. You will definitely see value in it, right? Because like I said, 54% of vulnerabilities critical and high severe ones. Where do you start addressing them, right? You need to have the priorities, your priorities in place, and your vulnerabilities have to be treated accordingly. And that is where the remediation comes into the picture. And since we take up an integrated approach with your respect to your vulnerability assessment lifecycle. We do not just discover or detect vulnerabilities, we also help with remediation, right? In addition, when it comes to remediation, there is applying of patches, all the security patches released by every single product vendor, or let's say you would require taking some endpoint controls, right? I'll be showing a very minimal use cases here, not going through the entire stretch, as we are all aware, right? So we have this small demo arranged now. I will take you to the platform, right? I'll start sharing my screen, and the audience here can confirm once the screen is visible. Yeah, so I have now started sharing my screen.
Yep, we can see it.
Oh, thank you for confirming. So this is the landing page the moment you log in, right? So this platform is designed keeping in mind what a CISO would need or what an IT security IT admin would require, right? All of it has been kept in mind and designed accordingly. Not only that, we have also considered partners and their requirements in place, right? Multi-tenancy is something that is inbuilt within the platform. You want to manage multiple accounts, multiple customers, and several accounts within each customer, right? All that can be managed from the platform, comes out of the box, restrict views to certain accounts, to certain users, provide role-based access, right? All that are some of the basic functionalities that this platform helps you with. But getting into the specifics of preventive cybersecurity now, this is one uh, beautiful aspect that I would like to bring to your notice, right? So what you see here on the landing page is what we call as unified dashboard. This dashboard, as the name says, it's a unified view of your complete IT security posture, be it the devices, be it the applications, and something to gauge them all with the help of a cyber hygiene score, right? You know your score is not good, so that's where you have to take the corrective actions. And why is the score not good? That's because you're not having good numbers here, right? So that's what this translates to. You see numbers that are around vulnerabilities and misconfigurations, posture anomaly. I'm sure not many people would have heard of this, but this is an interesting aspect to look at your IT security posture, how secure my IT is, right? I will give you the details in a bit, but yeah, this is also considered within the platform to help you better your cyber hygiene score. And of course, the patches that are missing in your IT, right? So if there is any security patches that is missing, definitely it's an easy way for a vulnerability to be exploited, and hence that has to be addressed. But where do you apply the patches? Like, how do you even strategize your patching? The platform also helps with that, where we come up with our prioritization engine, right? So this is aligned to the NIST standards. Again, this, if you look at this entire platform, it's aligned to the NIST standards, every single part of it, right? Even the risk prioritization engine is based on the latest SSVC framework that has been released quite recently, right? We are the first ones to productize it, and we have it within the platform here. And you have the vulnerabilities categorized or prioritized based on multiple factors, and eventually the remediation part. So how do you do the fixing, right? We give you the recommendations around it and also help you with fixing from the platform, right? So this is something that I'm sure any CISO or any IT admin would like to have, so that you don't have to get into every single report to understand where my IT lies, right? You have a dashboard where you have the vulnerabilities and the severity distribution. You know, there is 63 and 6733, almost more than 7,000, or almost 7,000 vulnerabilities are to be addressed on an immediate basis, right? So that gives a panic moment, kind of a panic moment here, and that's where the prioritization engine kicks in and helps you by saying, no, you don't have to address 7,000 plus. All you need to do is address the ones that are at and ensure your most of your attack surface is covered. So that's one beautiful way of looking at how you have to ensure your IT is secure, right? So coming to the devices that we have onboarded for this particular webinar, I have selected few devices specifically to address certain use cases. I will take you to this page where you will be able to manage every single device that is onboarded, right? So you have the details around the IP address, MAC address, and operating system they are running on. And speaking of operating systems, this platform covers them all, right? Anything that is alive and being utilized in the IT sector, be it Windows or Linux or Mac, right? And be them endpoints or servers, you have them all addressed with the help of this platform here. And I have specifically selected few devices just for the sake of this demonstration, where you can see I have created a group. And this is one of the fascinating aspects of the platform, where the groups are created by default based on the operating system of the devices that gets onboarded. But you also have the capability to create custom groups. And once you create group, you don't have to manually go and assign devices. You can have uh, the devices to be the groups to be configured in such a way that any new device comes on board, meets the criteria of that group, and it should be part of this particular group here, right? So I've actually done that, right, where I can show you the criteria behind this group, where I've given the host name so and so and IP so and so should be part of this group. So I will also show you how it is in action currently. I will show you how easy it is to onboard another device here, right? So I'll just share another screen where you will be able to see one of the devices which I have for the demonstration purposes, right? So I have this particular device where you can see there is no senior agent installed, right? So I have downloaded the agent here by default already, and this is where the agent lies. Abdul Hadi, can you please confirm if my Windows 10 device is visible right now? The one I'm sharing?
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks.
That is visible.
Yeah, thanks for confirming. Right, so this is the agent where I have downloaded and kept on this device, and I have created the group policy in my console in such a way that moment the agent gets installed, this should not go and sit on a Windows 10 group, rather it should go and sit in the group which I created for this particular demonstration session, right? So I am installing the agent here, right? You might understand, you might have a question here, right? So this is a manual process of installing an agent, but how do you do a mass deployment? So we do have multiple options. The platform also comes with its own deployer tool where the agent can be pushed with, or if you would like to push the agent through under any other software deployment tool that is there within your IT, yes, that is possible, right? Or even if you want to push it through your AD group policies, it can help you with that, right? So here is where you can see that the agent just got installed. All right, so it was installed before, now the agent is installed. Now let's just see if we are able to look at the device here. Sharing the console where you can see this group is up, the device is listed. It's a Windows 10 device, and you can see the scan is automatically started. It says the scan is ongoing, right? So this is how the the platform functions. You have the agent there. You don't have to assign any policy or look for what to scan, what not to scan, right? So because that is one more thing that is considered a challenge nowadays. You miss out scanning certain things because you don't have the template for it. You miss out on critical data points or vulnerabilities around that. The agent doesn't care about what you're trying to scan, what you're not. It scans for everything. And once the scan is completed, this is typically how the report would look like, right? While the scan is going on, it should not take more than 5 minutes. I will show you the device uh, scan report as well. But right now, this is the expected outcome, right? So you have the details about the device, the operating system details, and where it was last scanned, when it will be next scanned, and what are the details, other details that are captured. You get to see some real-time metrics as well with respect to your CPU load, how much of memory is being taken up, what is the network load on that device, and the disk consumption, right? And how the disk details, the partition is, and if there is any network interface details within it, you get to see them all. Assets translate to anything that is part of the IT. It can be a hardware, it can be a software, right? So talking about software, all the applications that are identified within the device get listed, their version numbers, where they are exactly located within the device. Or if you want to see the device drivers, the different services, the processes, and the different ports, right? So you get to see them all. So you see which port is being utilized by which process, and what's the protocol, and what is the state that port is in, right? If it's a listening state or any other state, that's it, right? So this is just a glimpse of what happens once the scan is completed. So there's a lot more. It runs a scan, captures the applications, gives you details on the vulnerabilities that are identified. And not only that, what are the applications that do not have any vulnerabilities? You get to see that as well, right? You can see there are 4 applications which are having vulnerabilities. You get to see some numbers here. For more details, just expand them. You get to see the CV details and when it was detected, when it was released, right? And an evidence stating why this particular CVE is marked or attached to this particular application or asset here, right? So you have it all within the platform. Even the fix that is required is listed here. And of course, if there are associated patches, you get to see them as well, right? All the lists of missing patches, or let's say non-security patches, addressing version upgrades, you have them all for this device here, right? And information around misconfigurations, right? So I will give you a detailed understanding of what this platform here means by misconfigurations in some time, but I'll take you to how you can see the information of all these devices cumulatively across the dashboard here, across the platform, right? As you can see, the devices are grouped here together, and whatever information we just saw was with respect to one device. Now, you would like to have a complete asset listing of all the devices within your IT infrastructure. That's what you get from asset exposure, right? All the applications, all the devices that you have onboarded. Previously, what we saw was just one device. Now we have every other device that is onboarded here, right? With respect to their IP address, MAC address, and all, and the different applications running in them. What is the percentage of coverage within your IT? And any applications that are licensed, and how many of them are installed, and how many of them have been utilized. If at all any application is outdated or something that's not being used at all, you get to see them all from the platform here. Now, this is helping you with gaining a visibility of your IT, right? It's not just throwing vulnerabilities and giving you the CV information, but not tagging into which application or which device were associated, right? You don't have to go ahead and do that manually by yourself. It is helping you discover all the applications first, and this is used as one of the major data points for every other module that you see here, right? So you understand this when I'm talking to you about posture anomaly. So anomaly, it can, you can call it as it directly translates to irregularities, right? So when you say irregularities or anomalies, what we do is we run a cumulative scan of your complete IT, right? And once the scan is done, we identify uh, any patterns that could be marked as outlier, right? So there is a pattern to certain devices where you have certain devices that are having network ports configured which are unwanted. Not all of them, few devices maybe, or let's say certain command execution in the run command history is looking very unusual, or some applications are making outbound connections to some unusual ports, right? So such suspicious events, or you can even call them anomalous events, are flagged out with the help of several checks that are there in the backend here, right? So what happens is these checks run and try to identify any outliers and give you the updates saying, yeah, we found so many anomalies, we found certain irregularities, and accordingly it gives you the control, right? So for example, here you can see there is something called as firewall disabled here, right? So and just yeah, here see there is firewall disabled on 15 devices. So what you do here is go ahead and review it, the list. And 15 devices having firewall disabled is a big number. You don't want them to not connect to your firewall, right? So what do is you go and review it, saying, yeah, I find so many devices not connected to my firewall. Okay, why is this device not connected? Okay, why is this device not connected? What you do is you straight away go ahead and fix it. But just imagine this is something that's supposed to be the way, because the platform doesn't know, right? You know your IT better. The platform is just looking for patterns and listing out whatever is anomalous here. But then what you do is you know your IT, you know your devices. You go ahead and say these are my test devices. So let me just go and whitelist. So this data is fed back to the machine learning models in the backend. So what they do is they take this into consideration the next run of scans. These devices are not considered for any kind of anomaly checks, and then accordingly you'll have more filtered results, right? So the idea here is to bring uniformity within your IT. Have one uniform IT. Let's say there is a check which reads unique applications are identified. So there are some 500 devices, and 10 of them are having certain applications which are very unique to only those 10, not to every other device within your environment. It gets flagged out, you get to check, you find certain applications are suspicious, you get them removed, you get them blocked, or you get them uninstalled. Certain applications are nothing but certain test applications that you had them intentionally installed. Go ahead, whitelist them, normalize or have a uniform IT, right? And then this makes your job of detecting vulnerabilities easier because you do not have anything there that is not supposed to be there, right? Let's say you have a vulnerability that is associated with an application which is not supposed to be there. Why bother fixing it? Remove the application itself, right? So that is how posture anomaly helps to bring uniformity across your IT landscape, where the detection of different vulnerabilities becomes easy.
So,
Now you can see,
yeah,
yes, sir.
no,
Yeah.
actually, while we were on the admin page, there was a question, and we're being flooded by questions too. So I wanted to ask. Amal asks that is there an admin page to check all the devices in the organization after installing this app?
Yes, of course. So that is precisely where we landed after
On the
uh,
devices, right? Right.
yeah, on the devices page. You can have them all looked up from the devices page here.
Yep. So Amal, I think that answers the questions. I think we can move towards questions. What do you think, Mr. Seth
Uh,
and Amir?
I suggest most of the questions would be answered eventually. The last 5 minutes, we would be able to answer every other question that we have.
Okay.
But I'm okay either ways. What do you say, Abdul?
Mr. Amir, what do you think? There's also another question, like what is the difference between Saner now and maybe other
Yeah.
solutions like Tenable and Qualys?
Exactly, right? So
Yeah,
this
yeah. I
how
think I
they
think
both answer.
we can take these questions in the last Abdul, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Because unless there is a question that because they are asking about compliances and something, maybe we can answer it in the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes, no
Oh,
problem. If we
all
complete
right.
this, will be better, okay? No issues.
Okay,
Thank
sure.
you.
So the answer to that question, how different the platform is based on, is actually what is getting demonstrated here, right? The platform is definitely different. you don't get integrated remediation, you don't get regular updates to vulnerability content on a daily basis, or you don't have a unified view of your complete IT from this that this platform provides, right? There are so many specifics to this platform that is uh, the need of the hour for several cybersecurity teams out there, right? So I'm sure the questions will be addressed as and how we proceed further. And yeah, coming back to the different vulnerabilities that can be, the different vulnerabilities that need to be addressed, right? So all you see here is a count of the vulnerabilities of all the devices that have been onboarded. And there are a few more interesting data points here, right? So what you get is not just the CVE view. If that is what you have been traditionally doing, getting just the CVE details, getting the patch details, passing it on to IT teams, no, that is not going to help you anymore. What you need to do is have specific insights like these. How easily a vulnerability can be exploited? What is the percentage of such easily exploitable vulnerabilities? Now, this is a scary number. I'm sure everybody in the audience will agree with me, right? 67% of my vulnerabilities can be easily exploited, right? And there is a public exploit available for many of them. And this data point, you see, high fidelity attacks, that's something very peculiar to my platform here. It says that you need to fix certain devices, or you need to fix certain applications within certain devices, or you might be subject to these attacks, right? There's a Blackbuster group exploit that could be there on 4 devices if these 3 applications are not patched, right? There could be a Baby Shark malware on this one device if this particular application, the operating system, is not applied with the latest patch here. So these are some of the insights that are very much necessary that will help you prioritize your vulnerability remediation approach, right? And reports across each and every device, how many devices, and what's the risk count or vulnerability count against each of these devices, what is their own severity distribution, or if you want a traditional report of just all the vulnerabilities, you have it here, right? You have the vulnerability count with the CVID, the associated title, the severity scores, critical, high, medium, and low. Assets, as in the applications that are impacted, right? The devices that are carrying these vulnerabilities, when it was detected, when it was actually released by the vendor, right? And whether there's a fix available or not. You get all that information from the vulnerabilities page here, right? So this is for those who are looking for the traditional vulnerability reports. But you want something more than that, that can be addressed with the platform, with all the dashboards that you see here, right? For example, you have an idea that certain application is not applied to the latest patch, but should you go ahead and do the patching on all the devices? No, not required, because 50% of my devices are already patched, right? So I need to address the other 50%. So such insights you get from the platform by default here. Now, coming to looking at the devices that we have selected for demonstration, let me just show how I can go ahead and create a compliance benchmark also. The reason being, vulnerabilities or CVEs associated with operating systems and applications are not the only ways through which an exploit could occur, right? So you're not compliant, or let's say you have regulatory compliances in place. Why do you even have them? Why is there a requirement or a need to have security compliances in place, right? That's basically to help you ensure that you are within a certain rule set, certain configurations, and you're not exploited. That is where these benchmarks like CIS or PCI or NIST come in, right? And this platform helps you with applying those policies on your devices, keeping a track of which device is compliant or what group of devices are compliant and non-compliant, right? So now what I will show you here is how do you even create and apply, right? As you can see, these are the devices, or let's say the group that I had selected for applying the benchmarks here. So I have Windows 10, two Windows 10, one Windows 11, and one CentOS 7, an Apple Mac 14, 1 to 22, Fedora here, right? So I have 6 or 7 devices in total, multiple operating systems. How do I create a CIS benchmark for all these devices, right? Where do I even how do I do it automatically? I want to apply a group of policies. I want to run a scan on these devices and identify whether the devices are compliant to my rules or not. And if not, I want to see the level of deviations. So this is what I would like to address from my platform here, right? So what I'll actually do is go ahead and create the compliance policy, not for all the devices, maybe for one Mac and one Windows 10 here, right? I'll use this custom Windows 10 and not Windows 10, I'll use Windows 11 here. So I'll use Windows 11 and one Mac device. All I need to do is go ahead, create a group of policies, right? So these are the templates that are there out of the box. Whole lot of templates for every single operating system that we support. We have support coverage for around 30 plus operating systems currently, and this is where you can get all the templates out of the box. So this is one more differentiating factor that I would like to bring, right? So we do not have a standard sort of rule sets out of the box and say you have to check compliances only against these rule sets, but we can help you with more, right? So like I said, I will go ahead and select Mac OS, and I will also go ahead and select Windows 11, right? But what am I even applying when I'm saying general compliance here? What am I even applying? Do I have the visibility? Yes, I do have the visibility. I can go ahead, click on this edit button, and then I get to see all the rules associated with Mac OS 14 policies here, right? There are so many policies here, and each policy has its own set of rules here on the right. And you can also see a CC ID associated with it, standardizing the concept of misconfigurations. We are not just throwing rules, giving rules out there. We are standardizing with the help of all these IDs. So I will not make much change, although this solution has the capability to, customize it. I can just unselect them all or select a few, right?
Yeah. Just let me, because there is a question here, maybe we can answer it quickly in the fly. Okay. Are NCA, ECC, and BDBL covered in the compliance? I think these are local regulations in Saudi Arabia. They are not built in here, but we can build them through the, I think, the general compliance here. General compliance, we can build it, okay, without any problems and scan the environment. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thanks. So these two devices I'm just selecting, right? So now what I'll do is go ahead and apply these benchmarks on these two devices alone. Although they are part of a big group where there are 7 different devices, the platform is intelligent enough. I mean, the agent is intelligent enough to figure out which rule has to apply on which device. Accordingly, only those devices are taken into consideration for the compliance policy, right? So I will just call it a webinar CIS policy. Yeah, I'll not call Mac and Windows 11 because that's what the policy will be taking up by default, right? I can have it applied. Click on create. Profile is created, and immediately the devices will be scanned against these policies here. So if I have to give you a confirmation on that, you can see that webinar CIS policy was created just now, right? And I will take you to the devices page again. Click on just my group and show you that a scan is now going on every single device here, right? And now because I applied, selected it for the entire group, but I have actually created a policy just for 2 devices. The policy will be run against all these devices, and then the agent figures it out that this policy is applicable only on Mac and the Windows 11, not on the rest. And accordingly, only those rules get applied, and those charts you get to see in the compliance management dashboard. Scan is now triggered for all of them. So while this is going on, I will let the scan complete. This should take 5 minutes. I will take you to the other module and bring you back here once the scan is completed, right? So I will take you to the risk prioritization module. You will see how the vulnerabilities are categorized into different sections to custom prioritize for your environment, right? So when I say custom prioritize, we understand every IT environment is different, right? Every environment is different, and you need to ensure that the environment and the vulnerabilities are actually prioritized based on what are the factors that could be responsible for having an exploit in your place, right? So when I say that, there could be multiple factors, right? There could be factors around how easily the vulnerabilities can be exploited, right? So I will take you back to the dashboard to bring you back here to the RP module where you can see that this is how the vulnerabilities are prioritized: act, attend, track, start, and track, right? So 4 different categories. And although the vulnerability count is adding up to 11,000 plus, 4,000 plus, almost 16,000 here, you can see that these are the ones that are marked under these 2 critical categories, act and attend. Right? So this count is coming to 450 and 1,300, 1,800 all together. And this is how the prioritization is taken into consideration, right? What are the mission critical devices? You get to define it from the platform, right? You have a set of questionnaires. I will not get into the details right now, like how you answer the questionnaire and all. It's part of the platform there. But once you answer, that is taken and fed back to the RP engine and the machine learning models that are powering it. And the other factor, exploitation levels, how easily the exploits can be automated, what would be the technical impact if a certain exploit is been done, is identified in your environment. All these factors are taken into consideration, and eventually the vulnerabilities are categorized across these 4 different sections here, right? So once you do that, you have the categorization done under act, attend, track, star, and track, those 4 different categories that you see, right? So the moment you are having this particular categorization done, the remediation is also provided to you based on the recommendation for the remediation is provided to you based on these 2 categories that you see, right? So that is what you get to see in the patch management. And of course, this entire setup is integrated, right? So there is a correlation between the vulnerabilities that you're trying to fix with the help of patches, and the numbers are uh, interlinked so that you know that you apply a certain patch, you will be able to see the reduction in vulnerability count. That's what you get to see the moment you log into the patch management dashboard. 844 patches addressing 9,000 plus vulnerabilities. You might see a difference in this number than the one you saw previously, where it was 11,000 plus. That states we show you every single vulnerability, irrespective of just having a patch associated with it or not. There could be vulnerabilities for which the vendors have not released any patches, right? So that you can see here, that is part of this particular graph. Nearly 10 the 1.2 percentage of devices are not having vulnerabilities that are not having patches for certain vulnerabilities here, right? So you get to see them all. Now, this particular module helps you do the patch right? We can see the interlinking to the vulnerability count for each and every device here as well. I will just list the devices for this particular session, and you can see this is how the correlation is. There are devices, 8 patches fixing 292 vulnerabilities, and you can also see the scanning is done on these devices. In certain devices, the scans are still going on. Basically, the vulnerability scanning is done, but the patch collection is going, right? So this is what is showing you the status of the devices. Now, talking of patches, there are two different kinds of patches that we help you with at a broad level, not in detail, right? Again, the subcategories go across different sessions again. So when I'm talking of patches, one, I'll talk about the fixes for the misconfigurations or the deviations from the policy which we just applied, and the patches that are responsible for fixing the CVEs, the vulnerabilities, right? So that is what I will be demonstrating you here. First, I will take you to the misconfigurations that were identified based on the policy that we applied, and then I will show you the security patches that will be applied in order to fix the vulnerabilities, the software vulnerabilities, right? I'll quickly take you to this Mac device where we applied a certain control, right? So we applied the uh, policy of CIS against this Mac device, where you can see these were the rules, right? Mac OS 14 general compliance is what was applied. And for all these rules, you can see that there is a pass or fail mechanism, right? Like data point C. So these rules are actually compliant. Turn on firewall logging is success is actually compliant, but this will enable application firewall rule is not compliant. So there is a rule associated with it, enable application firewall rule, right? And to understand the deviations with the CC view, right? The oval view, we have that as well here. So this is where you get to see the particular misconfiguration and the evidence around it, saying certain misconfiguration has to be fixed, and you have a fix associated with it. Now, what I'll do is quickly take you back to the compliance management module and show you how I can have a fix done. So this particular dashboard again, so you can see that my Mac device is listed 55 rules that are successful, 137 rules have not successful, and there are 152 patches associated with it, right? All I will do is take you to the fixes available. And this is something that is an interesting aspect of the platform again, where the fixes to misconfigurations is not something that is provided by every other platform, right? You will have to create your own set of scripts in order to provide fixes or to the deviations, and or let's say you will have to find a way to automate them across your IT. Just imagine making a certain configuration fix for devices that are almost, let's say there are 1,000 servers or 500 servers that are there, or let's say 15,000 endpoints that are there in an enterprise. How do you even fix the misconfigurations against it, right? So that is certain. There are certain aspects to this that are very specific to this platform, where it is not that easy to do with any other solution, or even if you try it manually. But we have actually given these controls to you out of the box. I will not go ahead and fix them all, right? Because I don't want to disable internet sharing. Right? I don't want to disable file sharing also. I want my Mac device to be functioning precisely. So this is where you actually go ahead and create certain policies based on,
I think we have left 5 minutes from the hour. Okay, so if you want to conclude, so keep maybe a couple of minutes for answering questions.
Yeah. Well, thanks for bringing that up. So what I will do is I will just show how the patching can also be done from the same platform here, right? And then I will part the entire discussion, right? So the first level of patching that I was trying to show was against misconfigurations. Now this patching is associated with the software vulnerabilities that will be fixed. right? I will not select all the devices. I'll just select just my group of devices here, and you have only those applications or that require patching listed here, right? All you need to do is select the patches associated with it. Like here, I have a certain device, the Fedora device, which requires Mozilla to be updated. Just apply the patch for this and show you the patch, security patch, right? And this one comes with several controls, right? You can have it done immediately, or let's say you have scheduled downtimes specified over the weekend, you can have that assigned. And if the patch requires a reboot, well and good, you can have that also controlled. I'm not going to test them all currently. I'm not going to show them currently because of the time constraints. What I'll do is just give you a walkthrough of these controls that you have, notify end users with the help of messages. I will give patch initiated and a patch completed. A message here, patch doesn't require a reboot. I'll just disable reboot. I'll have the patching task done immediately. No need to run any scripts here. If there is a requirement, yes, you have the capability here. You want to test it on test devices first, deploy them on production. That comes within the platform of the box. I will just run this task and I will take you to my Fedora device. I have it ready over there. And what I'll do is I'll share the Fedora device screen. Right, so this is the one that I have assigned for the testing. And yeah, just logging into this. Yeah, here you can see the message that I typed there, patch initiated. I click on OK. The message can be customized, right? So I just wrote there was some other message there which I replaced with my own message. You can have a better messaging given. So that was the message that comes up the moment the patching activity starts. So once the patching is completed, you'll see another box which reads patch completed, right? So I will take you back to the console where I am having the task that I had created, right? So this was the task Fedora security patch that I created, and this is the status of the task currently. Right? I can keep a track of that. The application is getting patched with the latest version. We'll have all these details updated once the patching is completed. And this is how a task would look like, right? So this is a successful task. So what happens if something fails, or what happens if something is in progress, right? So this is how you would look at it, right? So here you can see this task is successful. All the patches that were applied are successful on these devices. And these are also, I think, successful, but there's a reboot required to ensure that patching is completed. So is this. And these devices are still awaiting to be back online. Once these devices come online, the patches will be applied, right? So in this way, you create a task, you let it be. The devices, they're online, they get fixed, right? So that is how the agent gets into action. You don't have to be concerned about whether the patch has been applied or not. All you need to do is come here and have a look at it. So the patching is completed, I believe, and it says verifying remediation. So what's actually happening is we applied the patches associated with Firefox, right? And then here we have the device, Firefox, and there's a scan going on currently to check whether the vulnerabilities associated with Firefox have been fixed or not. So since a scan is going on, you might still see, let me just search for Firefox. Yep, Firefox is patched. Right, so that is what this means. Right, so once it is completed, it will not have the patch associated with Firefox here within the patches page. Right, says Firefox here. So this should not be listed once the scanning is completed. right? So
Great.
this way you have your all. Yeah, we have hit the timestamp. There's
Yeah,
so
we
much to
hit
do
the
with the
timestamp.
platform.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I
Amazing.
will just stop sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Be back to the you gentlemen there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, Abdul. Just to answer some questions, Safe, can we integrate IoT, OT assets as well so far and remediate legacy systems, something like that?
So having scans run on IoT and OT devices is possible on the platform, right? So we do have a capability within the platform to run scans on OT devices, yes. And legacy systems, let's say there are the vendors have we do have the capability for patching legacy systems, provided they get the patching support. Our customers get the patching support from their vendors or OEMs, right?
I think in our website we have the supported application, supported operating system as well. So including especially for legacy system like Windows. Another question, what are the different third-party tools which we can integrate? I think maybe he's saying that maybe SIM solution, source solution, ITSM solution, EDR. I think we have APIs for that, yeah. So we can
Yes.
integrate with them. We have some of them out of box integration, especially with ITSM tools like Freshworks, ServiceNow. But we can do that integration. The last question, I will take it. How is this different than Tenable and Qualys? Okay. Tenable, they don't have remediation part. Okay. Tenable customer, they are trying to integrate with other patch management solution. So Tenable, they are focused on the vulnerability scanner only. Qualys, they have a kind of remediation in their platform. They are on the cloud also only, but they don't have misconfigurations. They are not discovering the misconfigurations in their system as well. They are focusing in the CVEs mainly. Okay, I can categorize them and try to patch mainly the operating system, not the third-party applications. Um, uh, uh, um, each one of them, they are using their database for security checks, and we are using also our database for security checks and other. I can tell other vendors they are using our security checks, not like Qualys, Tenable, Qualys, only Tenable and Qualys customer they are using the database, but for us, okay, we have a lot of vendors using our database security checks for their customers. So we believe that we have billions of scans using our database. Maybe will be advantage for false positives, less false positives comparing to Tenable and Qualys. So I think we answer all questions we have here. Okay, and anything else, Abdul, Hadi, if you want to say something before we wrap up and close. We are 3 minutes after the hour, but no problem.
Yeah. No, actually, I think we have 2 more minutes. I'll just wrap it up. It was a pretty elaborate session. Thank you, Mr. Steph, and thank you, Mr. Amer, and for this partnership and for this session. I think we've greatly benefited all the viewers that we've had, and the point of this webinar was to have more conversations and get in touch with people who are not aware of the solution. So you can reach out to us, or you can reach out to Mr. Amer if you would like to talk more. And that's what we want. We want to get into a personal conversation. We want to get to know your environment and see if we can help you. That's why we're here, and that's the meaning of this partnership that we have with SecPod. And I think with that, I think we can move forward. And we also want to know what other webinars you want to see. What do you want from us? You can let us know. You can contact any of us on our emails. And so I think that'll be it from my side.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abdulhadi. Thank you, Safe, as well. For the customers or the prospects audience, thank you very much. Who's in Saudi Arabia? We will be next week in Black Hat as well, SecPod. Please visit us in Black Hat, ask for SecPod as well, and we are happy also to talk to you and meet you as well. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, thank you, Abdul, thank you, Saif, and thank you all the audience. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bye. See you. Assalamu alaikum.